This is Durag Wisdom here, folks, and welcome to Earth Date Y2K 18.06.25 with just 139 days until the midterm elections. We are living on a sub-microscopic dot in an infinite space. In this broadcast today, I am thinking of the 21st century so far. I'm thinking about Lisandro Guzman Feliz, slaughtered by 5 sociopaths who mistook him for someone else outside a Bronx bodega. They dragged him out of a bodega, all 5 of these creeps, and then they stabbed him in the neck like 5 times. This kid just went out shopping, never knew he was going to end up dead. And he was only 15. I'm also thinking of the sociopath we have in our Oval Office, who is bound and determined to destroy everything our country is supposed to stand for. I'm also thinking of the state of our world and how we have made it worse, not better for all. Now, I've written on this topic before, and I am not a genius, nor am I wiser than anyone else. I think about this following thing because I am trying to make myself feel better in this darkness. It's kind of a strange way to make yourself feel better. A few years back, I told a neighbor that Staten Island, because of climate change, will be mostly underwater in the near future, about 50 to 100 years from now. And she said that it makes no difference to her because in 50 or 100 years, she will be long dead. I then asked her about her children, about her grandchildren, and about their children to follow. Doesn't she care about their future? It was only then that she realized the ignorance of what she had said and simply answered that she never thought about that. Too many of us are not thinking, and many of us are slurping up the poison Kool-Aid of totalitarian fascism. At least 60 million in this country anyways. And at the same time, we're all enjoying, or a lot of us are enjoying, our mindless entertainments too. Science, ironically enough, has made me more spiritual. If you have never had the opportunity to see a star-filled sky, do so before you cease to exist. We live as we do. We fear as we do. We fight as we do because we are all deluded. We actually believe that our species is the best that evolution can do. With another several million years of life left to planet Earth, there is certainly room for more advanced species, for sure. I sincerely do not doubt this. Most of what our species has done for the past 100,000 years is muck everything up. If there is any kind of savage behavior you can think of, behavior so violent that meditating on it can damage you for life, the human species can surpass it. We actually have the balls to believe that we have the monopoly on ultimate truth. We actually believe that we own this planet and all the species that inhabit it. We actually have the goddess damn nerve to say that we stand tall with wisdom and with harmony. We live and go about our lives deluded, folks, refusing to realize that the universe itself, so vast beyond our dreams, can crush us into sub-microscopic maggot dust. If only we understood. And I am not the sharpest knife in this set, believe me, I know it. That we live on a sub-microscopic dot, miraculously not crushed by the universe we inhabit. We are not important. We are not significant. We are nothing against the massive scope of the universe. Yet, we are deluded into thinking that our home planet is the only reality that will be here forever and beyond. Remember when the human species believed that the sun revolved around the earth and not the other way around? Well, this delusion we live in, that we are the be-all and the end-all, is similar thinking. I wish for the sake of our survival that we wake up. Our planet is middle-aged at about 3 billion or so years. And there's still another 3 or so billion years left for our planet. But because of continental drift, the configuration of our land masses 1 million years from now could be as they were when this planet consisted of only one massive continent. Human beings could not survive on a planet Earth like that. Or if they could, it would be very, very difficult. The only answer would be that a species evolved that could live in such conditions. Additionally, our planet is the only one in our solar system capable of maintaining advanced life. We are absolutely alone, so to speak. Now here's a quote from an article I saw on the internet. Now I apologize for not including the name of the author. Quote, "The simple answer is that the sun is the closest star to Earth, about 93 million miles away. Outside of our sun, our system's nearest neighbor is Alpha Centauri. This isn't a single star. It's actually a triple star system. 3 stars bound together by gravity. Alpha Centauri, A and B, with a distant, dim companion named Proxima Tauri." So A and B are very bright, and they're together, closer, but further out, Proxima Tauri. Now, the inner binary appears to the unaided eye as a single star, the third brightest in the night sky, but it lies 4.37 light years from the sun. Faint, very faint Proxima Centauri is the one that claims the honor of being our nearest neighbor. Stellar neighbor, that is, at only 4.57 light years away, and the quote ends. We do not live in an era of warp drive, where we can travel interminable distances in little time. With our present technology, it would take us at least 80 or so years to get to our so-called closest neighbor. And that too, yes, that too is only one small, minuscule part of our own Milky Way galaxy, which is neighbor to millions of more galaxies throughout the known and the unknown universe. So at present, and thankfully, we are stuck here. Thankfully, I say, because we are still too primitive to be able to create a space force that will conquer it all. And besides, I wouldn't want to visit the stars with the thought of conquering it all. We are still too savage and too deluded, because no species this deluded as ours should be allowed out of this cage, Earth. The human species is deluded. The human race is arrogant. If they contemplated how minuscule we are next to the universe, maybe this realization alone would help us to change. H.G. Wells was optimistic at the end of his novel, The War of the Worlds, claiming that the human species had earned its place on this planet. He was, to me anyways, sadly wrong. The Cosmos remake ultimately relays a valuable question to our species. Will we enter the Hall of Extinction, quote unquote? The dinosaurs, after all, inhabited the Earth for around 3 million years. Human species, in comparison, has lived the length of 1/2 a second at a mere 100,000 years or a little more. In order to survive, and more importantly to evolve, we must first stop being deluded, stop being afraid, and open our minds to wisdom. However, this will never happen as long as we insist on being naked, tribal apes. We insist on not being responsible. We insist on having evil on our planet. We insist on being selfish, greedy, hateful, and warlike. Case in point, we followed one of our better presidencies, a step forward in the evolution of our country with the presidency of a fiend, a Nazi, a totalitarian racist named Trump, who, little by little, is getting us used to totalitarianism. He has made great progress in this endeavor by opening up internment camps for illegal, quote-unquote, refugees after just 17 months or so in office. I bet he will come up with an idea to make these prisoners work so that we can graduate to labor camps. Perhaps the traitor creep can start arresting dissidents and have political prisoners join the illegals. Maybe we can start assassinating people who disagree with our regime. What about having death camps too? There is nothing, absolutely nothing beyond the evil imagination of the human species at its worst. We've abused and polluted our planet. We abuse each other. And we can't live together in peace on this tiny little dot. This tiny little dot in a vast empty space. We've simply forgotten our place in the universe. If only we were allowed to see, like I've said before, a starlit sky once in a while. We haven't earned our place on this planet, as Wells said. Getting rid of the dictators and rogue nations that refuse to live in peace is only the beginning of our healing and our evolution. We must first stop deluding ourselves into believing that we are so damned wonderful, because we are absolutely not. And then we must live together with respect and with no fear, including with all species who live here with us. Everything should be in harmony, together. And finally, we must understand the weight of the vast universe upon our planet and comfort each other so that we can take up the burden and maybe just start actually evolving.